Stephen King has written so many books, and there are so many movie and TV adaptations of said books, but I feel like the comic books are kind of underrated. I'm Deanna Chapman, and today I'm going to walk you through a brief publishing history of the various Stephen King comics. First up, you have Creepshow in 1982, which was published by a Penguin imprint called Plume. A lot of people know about the Creepshow movies and the Shudder TV show now, but you can buy that comic, and I highly recommend checking it out. It's a really fun read. Then from there, you have a very long gap before the next comic book comes out, and that's not until 2007 when Marvel decided to release the Dark Tower comics, and those ran through 2015. And you know, there's a list about this long of Dark Tower comics that you can read in trade form, so there's a ton of material there. In 2008, Marvel also opted to release The Stand, which, you know, maybe that list is only like this long, but you still have a good amount of trades with that one. I believe it's 6 or 7 different Stand trades that you can read, and you have a lot of things going on after this that aren't as massive as the Dark Tower or the Stand. Although you would think the Talisman would be a pretty big deal, but in 2009, this was released by Del Rey Comics, and they just never finished it. You get to the end of the trade, and it's like, oh, okay, there's no more to read. So I have no idea what happened with that one. I tried to look and find more information on it, but I just wasn't having any luck, and maybe it has to do with the fact that Del Rey isn't really into comics anymore, at least not that I'm aware of. From there, though, Stephen King dips his toes into writing original comic book content. You know, he co-writes the first American Vampire trade with Scott Snyder. That comes out in 2010. You have Marvel releasing N in the same year, which was helmed by Mark Guggenheim. Then you have IDW releasing Road Rage in 2012, and shortly thereafter you have Stephen King releasing his own webcomic, Little Green God of Agony, which is still available on his website. I will have a link to that in the show description. If you're enjoying this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It really does help. But back to the comics here. The most recent release actually had quite a big gap between the Dark Tower comics ending in 2015 and this trade just coming out this year in 2021, and that is Sleeping Beauties. This is an adaptation of one of King's more recent novels that he wrote with his son, Owen King. The single issues came out in 2020, but it is finally in trade format. You can pick up a hardcover, and it looks fantastic. So on that note, there is something that recently happened with the Dark Tower comics, and they were reprinted by a company called Gallery 13, and they released some box sets for each of the sort of story arcs that happen in the Dark Tower comics, which there's really 3 main segments of that story. So if you want to check those out, I will have links to those in the show description as well. But that's all I have for you today. Hopefully this helps give you a little bit of a timeline on when these Stephen King comics came out and who released them. But thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.